As one of the most successful stand-up comedians today, Joe Coy consistently sells out shows across the country. It's finally his time to shine on the big screen, as he stars in Easter Sunday, a film loosely based on the man's life as a comic. His work has served as an inspiration to many, especially those in the Filipino community, which has not had many mainstream comedians who represent the culture authentically. Nevertheless, this raises the question: which comics inspired Joe Coy when he was a kid? Our investigation was successful. Lawrence Sharma spoke with the iconic stand-up comedian while promoting Easter Sunday. Joe Coy said the following when asked which comedians inspired him: "It was the storytellers who made me fall in love with comedy. My love for likes, and characters, too. People who did characters were my favorite. So, like, Whoopi Goldberg when she did, I think it was called, Around the World in IT Muffuckin' Days. I think that's what it's called. And I think she also did a Whoopi's one-man show where she played Fontaine and the little blonde girl. And, that was so amazing to me. Although Whoopi Goldberg has been co-hosting The View for 15 years, where she announced earlier this month she is launching a Prosecco line, as well as a number of other film and television projects, we must not forget that her career began in stand-up comedy, and she was once a major touring comic. Goldberg seems to have paved the way for everything Coy has accomplished as a comedian to date." Considering Joe Coy himself as a storyteller, his answer makes sense. Coy's stand-up often revolves around his family, and he does characters based on them famously. Since Coy is the leading Filipino comedian at this point in time, we can only assume that when he was a kid, there was no one from whom he could draw that kind of inspiration. However, as Coy will tell you himself, the themes of family are universal, which is how he found his voice through the work of folks like Whoopi Goldberg and Eddie Murphy. He went on to say this: "Then also seeing Eddie Murphy do Delirious, when he talked about Aunt Bunny and Uncle Gus. And like for some reason, I just identified with these people. I felt like, okay, it's not Filipino, but for some reason I have an uncle that started a fire with gas before to barbecue. So I'm identifying with this. So, yeah, it was like those were the ones that inspired me. And then, of course, the Robin Williams and Chris Rocks and the Martins, those guys. The classics. These days, it's hard to find a stand-up comic who hasn't been inspired by the likes of Chris Rock or Robin Williams. As it turns out, Coy is no different, despite the fact that he has a different cultural perspective. With Easter Sunday, Coy gives us an authentic look at Filipino-American families, and how that identity affected his journey as an entertainer. Easter Sunday is putting up some decent box office numbers, and it's truly one of a kind, so make sure and check it out in theaters right now. As for everything else that's coming our way this year, take a gander at our 2022 movie release schedule.